The Hill calls for Biden's resignation, Facebook patents shadow banning while claiming it doesn't exist, and frontline hospital workers literally go insane. This is your January 4th Not So News update. Please like and subscribe if you haven't already done. Starting us off from the Hill, we have a part where they say the silent part out loud. Are we allowed to whisper about the transition to President Harris? In the article, they reference Ronald Reagan. At 78, Biden's almost a decade older than Ronald Reagan was when he took the office 40 years ago. And I mention Reagan because having worked in his White House, I remember many people from the left declaring their concern about the cognitive abilities of the then 69-year-old man. So if 69 is fair game, what about 78? This is not about the legitimacy of Biden's presidency. The voters elected him and Vice President-elect Harris, and they have a right to govern our nation as they see best. Rather, this is about the need to talk openly about the possibility of another political transition once a senior citizen takes over the Oval Office. Right for Life UK has an article regarding New Zealand abortion legislation. In it, they state that abortion will now be available on demand, including for sex-selective abortion and disability selective abortion. There's also going to be no requirement that a doctor be involved in providing the abortion, and that if there's a failed abortion, that the newborn baby is not required to be given medical support, as long as no pain relief to be given to the fetuses that are between 20 weeks and birth. And finally, there's no legal restriction on controversial methods of abortion. CBS Denver has a story regarding newly elected Congresswoman Laura Boebert, who takes a new stance on gun rights for Congress people in DC. The newly elected Congresswoman stating, "I want to carry my firearm to defend myself in one of the top 10 most dangerous cities in America, Washington, D.C. A typical day in the life of a U.S. representative does not include armored vehicles or personal Capitol Hill police escorts. I will be alone a lot walking to and from the Capitol to my home each and every day that I'm working here. I will be my own security." Canadian police officers apparently stopped a New Year's Eve party. At the party, there were 6 individuals. However, the ironic part is apparently the police officers showed up without masks during COVID. And we have the individual being prosecuted during all this, Matthew Tessier, stating, "You're supposed to protect us, but right now you don't have a mask, so you put my life in danger." The video showed that some of the police officers, as well as members of the family, weren't wearing masks. From the New American, we have an article, Facebook denies shadow banning and receives a patent for shadow banning. In the article, they state, despite the fact that Facebook executives denied the practice in congressional testimony in April, the company was awarded a patent by the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office earlier this month for an automated system that would receive a list of prescribed content and block comments containing the prescribed content by reducing the distribution of these comments to other viewing users, while continuing to display the block content to the commenting user such that the commenting user is not made aware that his or her comment was blocked. A better definition of shadow banning would be hard to write. From PJ Media, we have a story that a black man at Brown University forced out of his job by rich white leftists. In this story, they state Porter, who served more than 15 years at Brown, was commended by Brown Executive Vice President for Planning and Policy, Russell Carey, who noted his efforts to establish departmental diversity and inclusion action plans, which have resulted in a more diverse workforce. Apparently, a student organization called Grasping the Root published a list of demands which included the complete abolition of Brown University Department of Public Safety, stating Brown University must confront the ways it contributes to the harmful conditions that leaves brown, black, poor, LGBTQ+, immigrant, and disabled Rhode Islanders vulnerable to predatory policing both on and off campus. From LegalReader.com, we have a story regarding a Nevada mom who's suing a publicly funded charter school to force her biracial son to claim white privilege. In the article, it states, in one classroom presentation, students were shown slides that listed United States dominant social groups, including white, male, middle, upper class, heterosexual, and Christian. Everyone else was categorized as submissive. Clark notes Fox News is biracial. His mother is black, while his deceased father was white. In court filings, Clark recalls how he felt discriminated against and harassed by different elements of the sociology program. Clark was, among other things, forced to make professions about his racial, sexual, gender, and religious identities in verbal class exercises, and in graded written homework assignments. The teacher, a self-identified white Irish American citizen with privilege, told he otherwise suggested that Clark was sabotaging other groups' chances at success by not reflecting on his privilege as a partially white male. A recent study shows the impact on working during the COVID-19 pandemic on healthcare workers and first responders, including looking at their mental health, function, and attention. Looking at the conclusion of the study, these results direct attention to recognize potentially treatable psychiatric symptoms, particularly those of PTSD in HCW and FR experiencing COVID-19 related stressors. They also suggest that mitigating COVID-19 related stressors when possible, such as by providing adequate protective equipment, can improve HCW and FR mental health work function and retention in the healthcare workforce. And finishing us off from NBC Bay Area, we have 43 San Jose Kaiser staff members test positive in COVID outbreak. In the article, it states the hospital is investigating whether an incident in which a staff member appeared briefly in the emergency department on Christmas Day wearing an air-powered costume with a fan may have led to air droplets being spread around the hospital. Seems like common sense to me. Great job, frontline workers. And this is your January 4th Not So News Update. Please like and subscribe if you haven't already done so, and check me out on